The honourable member for Lakeland.
Mr. Speaker, on April 6th in BC, the Prime Minister claimed Trans Mountain will be safe, jobs will be created, it will be built. 48 hours later, Kinder Morgan said it won't if roadblocks aren't gone by May 31st. On April 9th, the Canadian Pipeline Association said the energy sector is in crisis mode. That same day, the Natural Resources Minister said it's not a crisis. Ministers met urgently, spouted empty words, ran away. The PM took a day off while the Finance Minister met the Alberta Premier, then went to Peru. Yesterday, he met with both premiers for the first time and announced nothing. He's failed. When will the Trans Mountain expansion be built?
Honourable Minister of Natural Resources.
Mr. Speaker, yesterday, the Leader of the Opposition, in front of a national audience, decided to speak before the Premier of Alberta and before the Prime Minister of Canada. He has powers of intuition beyond the normal. He was able to intuit exactly what the Premier and the Prime Minister were going to say so well that he spoke before they did. Well, we're looking for the Leader of the Opposition's vision of the energy future for Canada, not seeking to speak.
The honourable member for Lakeland. Sorry.
Mr. Speaker, at least my leader didn't run away from the media. It tells the world Canada is closed for business, destroys competitiveness, and risks the future. It's the latest in a pattern of capital fleeing Canada under this Prime Minister, and it's just the tip of the iceberg. Hundreds of thousands of jobs in all sectors, billions for the economy, for social programs for all, hundreds of millions for more than 40 First Nations, and national unity are at risk. It's been a year and a half since the Prime Minister said it's in the national interest. When will Trans Mountain be built?
Minister of Natural Resources.
Mr. Speaker, the honourable friend says running away from the media. Last week, Country 93.3 in Fort McMurray, the Globe and Mail, CBC Radio Vancouver, 660 News in Calgary, the Calgary Herald, Bloomberg Media, CBC Radio Alberta, the Toronto Star, 77 News in Calgary, the Canadian Press, Radio Canada in Edmonton, the Dale Oily Bulletin, Le Devoir, Global News, CKNW Vancouver, Global News TV in Edmonton. I had ample opportunity to talk about the government's position to the media and to the country.
Mr. Speaker, 9 weeks ago, when talking about the Trans Mountain Pipeline and our motion, which would be supporting it, the Natural Resources Minister said there's simply no need for a motion today that attempts to manufacture a crisis where one does not exist. Wow. Well, Mr. Speaker, there is a crisis, and if that minister had spent half the time recognizing the crisis that's going on in the energy sector as he does compiling the list of interviews that he clearly spent a whole bunch of time doing, he would know that this is a crisis not only on pipelines, but jobs, and it's their abdication of responsibility to the energy sector that has caused this, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable Minister of Natural Resources.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I don't talk to the press enough. I talk to the press too much. All the time, we look at ways of emboldening and enhancing the oil and gas sector and the future of the energy sector in Canada. As a matter of fact, it was only a week ago when the Prime Minister and I were in Fort McMurray, talking to workers, talking to CEOs within the energy sector, understanding the importance of certainty for investment, the importance of investment in the sector internationally, that Canada is a place where people can have confidence, and that is why we are determined to see that this project in the national interest will be built.
The Honourable Opposition House Leader.
We've been warning the Liberal government that their policies are hurting Canada's energy sector, killing competitiveness and jobs. Their carbon tax, their tanker ban, their disastrous approval process has killed projects like Petronas LNG, Northern Gateway, Energy East, and now we see Trans Mountain dying a slow death. Investment and jobs are leaving Canada as we speak. When will they get their heads out of the sand and realize that their policies are disastrous for Canada's energy sector?
The Honourable Minister of Natural Resources.
Through pipelines, job creation for the people of Alberta, for the people of Western Canada, compared to the 10-year record of the Harper Conservative government, not 1 kilometre of pipeline built to Tidewater, no consultation with Indigenous people, court cases, who said that the Harper government had failed in its constitutional responsibilities, no conversation with the importance of energy and the environment being part of one conversation. Mr. Speaker, why would we want to mimic that record of failure?